Yeah, there's like Buzz and Woody back there. Buzz and Wally back there with Star Wars and a bunch of comic book characters and Macross over there. So it's just stuff that I like.
You win
That's
for
awesome.
best Zoom background. That's for sure.
You really do.
And you got matching plant babies with Thomas.
Yep,
I?
I got a lot of forest back here.
Oh, nice.
This is
Pinoy News Update.
Welcome to Pinoy News Update, a topical web series for all things Filipino American. Today's guest is a storyboard artist at Pixar and the writer and director of the acclaimed Disney Spark short Float, which has been hailed by Vox as a story that doesn't just drift by, it soars. A touching story about a father trying to connect with his young son. Allow me to introduce you to the human responsible for this touching short film, Bobby Rubio.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, first of all, we just want to say thank you for being here today because it was just so full circle that you are here and we get to talk to you face to face. Because when we first started Pinoy News Update, you were one of our first Instagram shout outs when
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah, and you actually responded too, and you commented. I remember we were like, "Oh my god,
He legitimized us.
right here!"
Oh, nice.
Pixar creates short films starring Filipino American leads, and we made the caption, "Pinoys are now as animated as my Lola when she tells her favorite stories."
Oh,
Thank you for being here and talking with us.
It's great to be here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're just really excited to have this opportunity to speak with you. And like as Nina said, the full circle story is pretty awesome. So we want to just start off with sort of getting into the background of it all. What got you into animation and ultimately sort of the journey, how you got to Pixar?
Okay. When I was little, I was fascinated with comics and movies. I really loved Star Wars and Superman. And my father could draw a little bit. He was pretty good for his, and he drew in high school. And when I was little, I wanted him to draw me everything. And I do remember one time I was kept on pestering him to draw me Star Wars or Superman. And he was like, you know what? You do it. And so I did. And it's decent for a 3 or 4 year old kid. So, but I found that I loved it. I had a knack for it, and I kept drawing. And all through all through elementary school, middle school, high school, I was known as the artist, and I drew all the time. I created my own comic books.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a comic book artist. And I was planning on going to this school in New Jersey, I believe, or New York. It's a comic book school. But my mom was like, no way are you going to the East Coast. You're staying here in the West Coast. So the other option was the Cal Arts in Valencia, which is the university that Walt Disney started for animation. And so I went to Cal Arts. I graduated with a BFA in animation. And then I interned at Walt Disney Feature Animation. My first movie was Pocahontas. I worked on Pocahontas, Mulan, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Wow.
I'm starstruck.
And I was started off as a cleanup artist, and I made my way to animator on Treasure Planet because that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a 2D animator. And unfortunately, after Treasure Planet, computer animation was more the thing. And so there's a studio called Pixar that was kind of ruining it for me. And I was like, wait a minute. So unfortunately, I got let go by Disney. And I thought my career was over. And my brother was saying, hey, man, you're really into anime. And there's this show on Nickelodeon called Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you should go for that. And I was like, Nickelodeon, they do SpongeBob, but I went over there and Mike and Brian had an amazing product. I didn't know that it was going to be as huge as it became, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mhm.
And I was so grateful to be part of that team because everyone was so hungry and everybody wanted to make that show super awesome, and including myself. And so I was on Avatar: The Last Airbender for the first 2.5 seasons, and then I left to go to Pixar. And my first movie at Pixar was Up, and I've since worked on Up, Inside Out, Brave, Incredibles 2, and Toy Story 4, and of course Float. So, and I can't. Oh, it's just been announced. I'm currently working on Lightyear. So
Yes, that's so
Here, here.
cool.
That is really cool. And
God.
also, it seems like your family was very supportive of your whole journey as well.
they were, especially my mom. My mom saw my skills, and maybe because she saw the love that I had for it. And so she never really pushed me to be anything else. She never pushed me to become like a doctor or a lawyer or anything like that. Maybe she hoped that my other 2 siblings would go that route, but she was very supportive. And actually, I think my father was pretty supportive as well, in that at least when I was little, he would drive me to comic book stores to buy comics.
Aww.
So that's cool.
Like, me and Thomas talk about this all the time. There's this stigma about Filipino families. You know, it's a stereotype that they want you to be a doctor only, you know.
Mhm.
And like, but we both were like, we've had such supportive parents, you know.
Right.
My parents used to drive me back and forth from the Bay to LA.
What, for auditions and all that?
Yeah, so they were
Oh,
committed. So
gosh,
it's cool
that's
to hear
great.
when there's like other supportive Filipino parents out there. They're not all like sticklers and not judging anyone else's journey, but
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah, it's great that our parents recognize that. And then we also need artists, and our stories need to be told as well. And who's going to do that? You need artists to do that, and writers. So parents should encourage writers and directors and creators out there. So
back to your childhood. So I know you were into Star Wars,
Mhm.
Superman, you know, eventually into comics, drawing them for all your classmates. What were some of your biggest inspirations when it came to your animation style when you drew? I know there was like comic books, so maybe what was your favorite comic book that inspired the way that you drew?
Oh, okay. My favorite comic book was the New Teen Titans, and it was drawn by George Perez, who for some reason I thought he was Filipino, because you know, we all have Latino surnames, and I was like, he's Perez, so maybe, but he's actually Puerto Rican, and that's cool too. But I was just like, I just found it fascinating. I think as a kid that there was a artist that wasn't non-white, you know? You're like, the name's George Perez. He's not, it's not Chris Johnson that I was, so I think, but also the inker of of the New Teen Titans is Romeo Thanghal, and he is Filipino. So I found that out later, and I was like, whoa, what? And of course, when I grew up, I gravitated towards Jim Lee and the X-Men. And then also another X-Men artist is Whilce Portacio. And I actually got to meet Whilce when I was younger and trying to move up in the comic book industry. And he was very helpful and very encouraging to me. And, you know, I will forever appreciate that. And I mean, because of that, I also want to do my part to help out young Filipino artists and creatives whenever I can, because, you know, we're all in this together. We want to spread our culture out there, and I mean, because we're known as the invisible minority, and it's time for us to stop being invisible. It's time for us to step out into the spotlight and show the beauty of our culture. So I praise all of you guys. So thank you, all of you, for like continuing and pushing our culture out there.
That was absolutely beautiful, Bobby.
Thanks, Nina.
Exactly why we are all here today. You know, it's funny, as an actress, I'm tired of being told, hey, can you play Japanese? Can you be Native American? I'm like, no, Filipino, let's go. We
Yeah,
exist,
yeah,
no? What,
yeah.
the
Let's
third
do it.
largest Asian in
Huh?
America? I think it's the third or the second. I forget.
It fluctuates. Sometimes we're the second, sometimes we're the third. But
Mhm.
but still, when you stop and think about that, if even if we are the third, you're like, why is there no representation on screen? Why
Yeah.
is it? Why is float the first? Like it's not.
Mhm.
It's
All right.
not. You know. So
Good question.
yeah.
Yeah.
But at least it's a start. Let's. I mean, we can move forward from here.
And so what are your thoughts on, representation in animation to this point? It's like, this is sort of like the beginning, and how do you would like to see it going in the future? Because I personally, in all my pilots that I write, I always, put a Filipino character in because it's just who I am. So
All
that's kind of how
right.
I'm doing it. Yeah.
All right, Thomas. That's the only way we're gonna do it is by people that are brave like yourself to actually put that character in, and for you to bring it to your producer and go, no, I think it's essential because this is my world. This is reality. And I want to make it as authentic as possible. So, of course, there's going to be Filipinos in this. I'm hopeful for our future because there's plenty of Filipino creatives such as yourselves and directors like Bobby Pontius, Ronnie Del Carmen, Josie Trinidad. I mean, we're growing, and so I feel optimistic that us as creatives are gonna come up, and there's gonna be something out there with our representation in it. I mean, obviously, seeing Raya, the Last Dragon, and her doing the Screama, that is encouraging. That's like, wow, that's ours. But I would like to see a Filipina, Pinay, or a Filipino actually do that and actually say that they are Filipina or a Filipino. I mean, that's great, but it's a start. But let's push for more.
I had a little bit of beef with that because they had originally cast like a Pinoy American in the role and had like announced it at D23, and then and then all of a sudden there was this like no mention recasting of Kelly Chan, who, congrats to her. I'm so happy for any Asian female. But then all of a sudden the descriptions, because it became this win for the Filipino community, and all of these TikToks and things were like, we're like, look, it's us, like it's a Filipina, blah blah blah, and then the D23, and then all of a sudden the news changed to, but it's inspired by Southeast Asian countries like Indonesia, Singapore, Philippines, and it was just kind of this gray area of like Asian, we're all the same, Vietnamese, but now it's going to be Vietnamese American. Another Filipino American project that was supposed to be on TV, that is about to be on TV, is centered around it's called The Cleaning Lady or something, but it was supposed to be about like this doctor who, like, don't quote me on the name, but like anyway, it was originally Filipina, 2 times a Filipina.
Oh, okay.
They just recast Maggie Q as the actress.
Oh,
and now it's like and then they're like, but she's still gonna live in the Philippines and have
what?
Yeah, but I'm like, but she's not even Filipino. It's just weird. I'm like, I don't know why. It's fine. I'm just glad the stories are getting out there.
Yeah.
And it's getting out there. But I'm like, we're still
the beginning. That's why we need all of us to come in and help rise the tide. So we're all getting our stories out there. But yeah, oh wow, I didn't hear that story. That's terrible.
Yeah. Speaking of, now that we're on this subject, do you have any future projects in mind that center around Filipino American identity?
I mean, I already announced that I wanted to do a comic book with the first Filipino superhero with the Screama. It's called Neighborhood Legend. And I would like to do that. Because I actually got into a Screama a couple years back, and I just I was searching for my identity and my culture, and and I told my instructor, it's so funny when I picked up the sticks, I felt like something was returning to me, you know, like it was lost. And now I want that same feeling for all Filipinos. Of course, I got to keep my day job, but, but, um, but, but believe me, I mean, I've got this taste of creating this story with float, and I see all these Filipino creatives, and I want to help, and I want to be part of the solution. I want to be part of the people that help push us forward. And if I can, if I have this platform right now, I'm going to use it to talk about Filipino culture and projects, if possible.
I love that. It's so funny you bring up Eskrima. Me and Vince just started taking lessons. And
Oh,
then,
good.
yeah, we even gave Thomas a little bit
Uh-huh.
of a tutorial.
Nice.
Such a power and a legend of behind that art, which is really cool. And I didn't even know about it until Game of Thrones, because the little sword fighting girl, Arya Stark,
Oh, yeah.
in it. And then my uncle was like, do you know that's Filipino martial arts? I was like, I didn't even know that existed. So it's just so cool how secret and like passed down through generations, and how like, secret it is now, but now coming to light. So that's a great highlight for Filipino culture right now.
Yeah, that's what's great, because that's ours. You know, it's like for so many times, like it's great that I'm glad like my nieces have Moana, but she's not Pinoy, you know, but it's great that they have that, but it's great that their kids have float now too, because you're like, oh yeah, no, that kid's Filipino. And you know, so it's just great that we have something. And hopefully we'll have more, right, Thomas?
Exactly. That's what we're working towards.
Yeah, and Nina and Vincent. I mean, that's what we're all working toward, right? We're all of us are Filipino creatives, Filipinx creatives, and we all want this. So we got to charge forward and get ours. Let's go for it.
Yes.
Exactly. I know you can't pick your favorites out of all the Pixar films that you worked on, but which one did you most enjoy? You can pick one of them. Most enjoyed, learned a lot, or felt the most challenged?
And I can't pick float?
Outside of your own project.
Outside of my own project. Yeah. It would be Incredibles 2. Okay. Because it's Brad Bird, who a director that I truly admire. I love his films from Iron Giant to I mean, he did Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise, and also he did the first Incredibles, which I think is still my favorite Pixar movie of all time. So it's cool working on that film, because I got to see how he directed people. I got to see how he treated people. I got to see just the way he ran things, and I was like, when I get the chair, that's what I want to be. I want to treat it just like him, with the respect, and also, you know, and he was actually a very a guy that you could talk to, which I was like, I was not expecting, because I mean, he's here hanging out with George Clooney and Tom Cruise. And I was already expecting him not to know me by my first name, and he did. And that means so much to me. I wasn't just another guy on his crew. So I took that to heart, because that's how I want to be when I get the chair. I want to recognize everybody on my crew, and that they are important, and that then, you know, we're making this together.
I'm so inspired by that, because you set the tone on your set, you know, and from the interview, like I already feel so fired up. I can feel that giving nature that you have as a creative. And I think that's amazing. That's what makes the creativity flow. And I know you were talking about wanting to inspire other, you know, Filipino youths that want to animate. Do you have any advice for all up and coming animators?
I would say, keep at your craft every day, draw, or if you're a writer, write, and don't be afraid to pitch it your ideas and show your artwork to people, because I know some people are like, it's not good enough. You know what? To be honest, it'll never be good enough.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It has to just communicate for now, and then you will strive to get it better and better and better. I mean, perfection's really hard to achieve, and then it's all subjective anyways at the end of the day. So yes, I would say to not be afraid to show your ideas to other people, and also try to tell your story, just like I did with Float. Everybody has their own unique life, and everyone has their own individual perspective. So mine's gonna be different from Nina's and Thomas's and Vincent. And so be you, because that's what makes you special, and that's what's gonna make that what makes you special is gonna make that project special. So trust in yourselves, trust in your gut, and go for it. That is my advice for up and coming kids.
Wow, I just feel like I'm getting a master class from Bobby right now. I'm loving it. So what would you say your sort of pivoting your favorite animation show right now? So I love Demon Slayer, which is like a show that I love. Yeah.
Animation, I mean, Rick and Morty.
Okay.
So, but I just think it's funny, and I love the creator, Dan Harmon and Community, and I have friends on it, and my brother used to actually work on it, and
nice.
So that's the one that comes to my head, Rick and Morty. That's the one. So I'm like, yeah, because I actually am really busy and I don't watch a lot of anime or animation right now. So, yeah, but Rick and Morty is my first thought when you asked.
That's awesome.
That's a good one. That is a good one. So do you have any other creative talents that we don't know about?
No, I wish I did. Like, I wish I could play the piano. Like, my mom wanted me to, but I couldn't. My son's actually playing the guitar right now, and he's an artist as well. And I tell him, you learn everything. Because I remember when I was little, I didn't want to play the piano. I was like, no, Mom, no, And now I regret that. So, yes, I would also suggest that for kids as well. I mean, take an instrument, take up any other talent, all your other talents, like let those grow as well. Because I mean, I think I just put all my eggs in this art basket. I was like, let's go here.
Well, it seemed to work out.
Huh?
I'm like, well, it seemed to work out.
Yeah, it worked out, but you know, you can't. Sometimes it doesn't. So, but yeah. But I don't. Yeah. Writing, unless writing is also considered, but yeah, no, I wish I could play and I wish I could cook. I wish I could dance, but I can't. I'm that one Filipino that can't dance or sing.
No karaoke for you?
Yeah. I feel like God was like offering talents, and he's like, okay, kid, you want singing, dancing, drawing, and my little baby hand went drawing.
Well, you have your kids to help you out in the karaoke concert.
Right.
Represent you.
Right.
Yeah, your hidden creative talent is your son's guitar talent.
There you go. I'll claim it all for myself. That's it. That's mine. That's actually
exactly. And we must ask, I know we have our final two questions and we're wrapping up, but what is your favorite Filipino dish?
Sisig.
Oh.
Yeah. Because like I always have to get that when we go out, but it has to be good, you know. Like there's some not good sisig out there.
Knockoff sisigs.
Yeah. So, no. But and lechon, really good lechon.
You're making me hungry now.
I know, right?
And final question, how close to your Filipino heritage were you growing up? Because, me and Thomas were brought up very differently. Like, I was very Americanized. Like, my mom and dad don't even speak Tagalog. They never cooked it at home. I only got the experience when I went to my grandparents. And now that I'm older, now I yearn for that experience more and learning about it, which is why we started Pinoy News Update, because I was like, I just want to know more.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Japan, and my mom was always, I always had like the Filipino culture and identity around and sort of like immerse myself in the culture as well. And I wish I spoke Tagalog a little bit more, but I've always been proud to be a Filipino.
That's so great that you grew up in Japan and you could just fly over in Philippines real quick.
Yeah, I know, it's only 3 hours.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
I wish my wife and I were supposed to go to Japan. That was we were supposed to go to Japan, but my kid was born. We found out she was pregnant with my first kid. And I was like, so we couldn't go to Japan. I still have yet to go.
Once this COVID ends, you definitely have to get to Japan.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I was much more like Nina. Like, I am Americanized. I don't speak Tagalog. My parents didn't teach me. And I am slightly ashamed that when I was younger, I didn't want to. And I was like, I don't want to hang out with the fobs. And I'm kind of ashamed to say that. But it is the truth. And but as you grow up, you realize how ignorant you were, and like I said, when I'm craving my culture and my heritage, because I feel like I've lost it, and I feel like I want it back, because I don't feel whole without it. And so like I said, that's why I went to Screaming classes, and I was learning about my history, and I'm learning about our martial art history, and you're finding all the beauty that we had and that we were never taught in school. And I'm glad that, like I believe in San Francisco, at least, that in the Bay Area, that they're going to teach Filipino history. And I think that's happening in LA as well, and hopefully in San Diego. But we don't know our history. We don't. When you find out all these things that we've done, and you're you start to get empowerment because you feel like you belong, and so that. So I am an Americanized Filipino, but I am struggling and trying to find my culture and trying to be more, Filipino. But I don't know, because it's weird, because in some places you're not. So we ride this weird balance. Like, you're not Filipino enough because you don't speak Tagalog. You're not Filipino enough because you don't know your history. And so it's this weird, like, you struggling, trying to find your identity, and that's okay. Like, I actually want to tell that story, and because that's our story. It's the Americanized Filipino, like us trying to navigate through America and try to be American yet Filipino at the same time. So
Navigate the psychological impact of the colonial, mindset,
right,
embedded in our history. And
right.
I'm so happy that you brought this up. Like, it resonates with me. You can join me on my quarantine Tagalog classes that I bought.
Oh, hey now. Yeah.
.com shout out. But it's crazy because, you feel so lonely in that story sometimes, and you feel like it's because of me. Like, I'm not trying hard enough, but it's actually crazy. The majority of us Filipino Americans here have that same story, and the more we talk about it, the more, again, unstigmatized it is, and how we can come together stronger versus judging each other for that. But it's my mind how many like Filipino Americans don't know Tagalog. Like, it was just never handed down. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you. I just want people to know we share that experience. Like, I didn't want to lie to you and go like, no, I'm great. No, I'm still struggling with my identity. And I think it's good. I think it's good that we all share that, and then we can put that into our art and our stories. And that's what makes us unique.
Oh, so much gold today.
I know, so much inspiration. Thank you
I
so much
know.
for your time today.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you guys. Thank you, Vincent. Thank you, Thomas and Nina. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys today. Take care.
All right,
Take care.
bye.
Bye.